optional features. 1. Our sub LED display. I like to have the channel number. It's priority. You can make it low or high. Display format, channel name versus zone number. In this case of this radio, I have my name. If I was to select zone channel number, it would say 1 1. So it'd be zone 1 channel 1. So I like the name. Clock format, you can have 12 or 24. You can have a date format. Color scheme, full color white, monochrome, whatever you like. I always stay with full color. Signal strength indicator, that's will appear up here when it hears something. Looks like a cell phone. Zone name display. Since I was good enough to put the zone names over here, that analog NXT P25 will appear on screen if I had that selected. Clock display, if you want it to display or not. The brightness, how long you want it to stay there until it times out and goes to dark. Backlight, if you want to be bright when you push a button or push the PTT or any key or message, then it would automatically come on. These are our transmit LEDs. You probably leave those on. Sound. Okay, so power on. So if I turn the radio on, I don't know if this one does it. If I turn it all the way on, no, it doesn't beep. Power on. So this one is set to off. Basically, that's if you don't want the thing to turn on and beep at you, you can turn that off. The rest of the stuff you can leave current, unless you're doing two-tone paging and you want this thing to go full bore at you. When it receives its tone and receives the correct two-tone page, then it'll go beep beep beep. Even if you have it turned to volume all the way down, it'll still beep at them full volume. That's great for firefighters who are going to sleep and just want to be paged. You can change your volume limits. This one's set to max. The low is set to 0. Voice announcement, if you want the thing to, you change the channel and go 1, 2, 3. You can do that. You can also select function guide, and then some of these buttons, like home channel, whatever, it'll say home channel when you hit the button. Power on. In this case, let's do a custom. I'm going to select, it has to be a portable, so that's Kenwood's generic. You can edit this file with Microsoft Paint. We put our company logo on it and some other stuff just for fun. Message type, when it turns on, you could put a text message here if you want to put like a date so you know when the last time this was programmed. I like to do that a lot. Don't really need to mess with that. Battery information, I like to put charge. So when it turns on, gives me how much battery is left. 99%. It's a brand new battery. These are some different stuff if you want to play with battery indicators. Warning, lets you know if the battery's getting low. It beeps at you when you transmit. You can do battery Fahrenheit, Celsius, warning tones. That's the one that lets you know that you got a problem. Password. Very important. If your radio gets stolen, you want a clone front panel programming password. That means if somebody tries to read your radio to get your programming information, they won't be able to without your password. A transceiver password, every time you turn the radio on, if you had the keypad, you'd have to enter in code to use the radio. Stack, that is the Japanese word for text messaging, or messages. We're not going to be doing that today, so that's an advanced feature, and then that's really only in digital. mode. We always want our firmware programming selected. So when we get an update, I usually send my customers an update if there's a firmware update, and they can then, they'll hook the wire to the radio, use a different program, and they will put the new firmware into the radio. Sometimes there's bug fixes and other things. It's a little computer, but always want to have that selected. Serial interface, that's an advanced feature. We're not going to mess with that. Same thing here. Our others. Okay, rollover and stop. So if you had this button selected to completely spin, you notice it has 16 on here. Those 15, 16. You can make it. You can put in a stopper and make it stop at 16. That's a public safety feature. In my case, I want to do rollover. Well, actually, it doesn't really matter. If you have rollover selected, when you get to the top of your list of frequencies, beeps, let you know you got to the top. So I'm going to channel 1, I go to channel 250. If I have it on end stop, it will stop at 1, and I'd have to go the opposite direction to get it back. Speaker status memory, that's a good thing, leave that on. External speaker, if you leave this off and you plug in a speaker mic, you won't hear anything on the speaker mic. This thing has advanced speaker features, so always leave that on. And shouldn't have to mess with any of that. Alright, optional features too. Push to talk release tone, push to talk proceed tone. So if it's a proceed and I push the talk, it would beep at me. It's kind of a cue tone to let me start talking. The release tone is the opposite. When I release it, it would go beep, and the receiving units would hear me beep. In the old days, they would say unit 1 to unit 2 over, and then they would know that when the receiving guy hears the word over, they would know to start talking back. If you want to eliminate the word over, you can put in that release tone. This is the voice operated function. If you have a speaker mic and you want it to pick up when you start talking, you can enable that feature. OST, back in the old days when they had repeaters with the same frequencies but different tones, you could have one channel on your radio, and then you could select a different tone group to activate another repeater. But because this thing has 1,000 channels in it, you really don't need this, so we'll skip that. Okay, audio recording. If you want this thing to record when it talks and when it listens, I think it can do about 3 or 4 minutes worth of conversation with what comes with radio. If you want more than that, you have to purchase the SD card upgrade, and then you can put in, I don't know, 30 gig or 32 gig chip, and you have hours and hours and hours and hours of conversation. But you want to select all, and the duration of each recording in this case is 30 or 60. If you had the SD card license, this would come ungrade, and you can select all kinds of timing. And then if you had the SD card, you can do GPS data storage. You can make it first in, first out, detect deletion. So the last one, the oldest, gets deleted and replaced with a new one. Okay, GPS. We're going to turn that on. We're not using the Bluetooth feature. If you radio has the Bluetooth feature, and actually it does come with a basic Bluetooth feature which allows you to purchase the third-party Bluetooth speaker microphones and headsets. They're not Kenwood, they're a third-party, and then you have basically a wireless microphone. I'm not going to do that today, but we're going to do GPS. Why am I not getting this? Oh, I'm not getting, this is grayed out because I haven't gone to key assignment and selected a GPS button. We'll have to come back to that. If you were doing tracking, you'd have to use this. That's an advanced feature. I'm not going to use Bluetooth, so I'm going to turn that off. Scrambler codes. Okay, we're not. That's an advanced feature. We're not going to worry about that. Let's cheat ahead. We're going to jump ahead here real quick. Well, actually, we can go ahead. We're at the end of optional features.